Stop buying standard defensive pistols and thinking a heavier recoil spring turns them into legitimate backcountry rigs. Most guys think strapping a red dot to their daily carry makes it a brush gun, and it costs them the trophy of a lifetime when that lightweight defensive hollow point shatters on heavy bone instead of punching through. Here is the truth about the 2026 SHOT Show. The industry just completely flipped the script, ditching those modified range toys for purpose-built, optics-native hand cannons designed from the bare metal up to deliver maximum terminal performance and rifle-caliber ballistics. So lock your harness and check your gear, because we're dropping into the top 5 dedicated hunting handguns of the year. Kicking off the list at number 5 is the Kimber 1911 DS Warrior LS. Moving away from the traditional single stack design, this platform gives you a massive double stack capacity of up to 18 rounds. It eats full power 10mm auto for breakfast, pushing heavy hard cast bullets at velocities that rival traditional Magnum wheel guns. I saw a guy out in Wyoming try to drop a charging hog with a standard compact 9mm, and he just could not get the terminal performance needed to stop it in its tracks. If he had 15 rounds of this heavy-hitting 10mm on tap, that story would have ended a whole lot differently. Looking under the hood, the secret sauce here is the extended 6-inch barrel and slide. That extra inch of steel significantly increases the reciprocating mass of the slide assembly. This heavier slide slows down the unlocking sequence of the breech during firing, buffering the harsh recoil impulse of boutique hunting loads and preventing premature wear on your internal components. It also stretches your sight radius, giving you a massive advantage when lining up that perfect shot while the adrenaline is pumping. Plus, the slide comes optics ready right out of the box, letting you mount a ruggedized reflex sight without sending it to a gunsmith. Now, let's be real about the feel. The match-grade single-action trigger breaks like a frozen icicle snapping in half, right at 4 to 5 pounds. Recoil feels like a heavy, predictable shove from a linebacker rather than a sharp whip, thanks to that advanced carbon fiber and glass-filled polymer matrix grip module acting as a micro shock absorber. But here is the deal breaker for some guys: the grip geometry. Because it packs that massive double stack magazine, the grip is as thick as a fence post. If you have smaller hands, you will absolutely struggle to get a proper, secure wrap around this frame, especially when the weather turns freezing and you are wearing heavy hunting gloves. Rugged and reliable, this platform brings serious heat to the backcountry, setting you back about $1,250. It provides unparalleled firepower for dangerous game country. This is solid, but wait until you see the monster at number 1. It completely redefines the game. Now we get serious with the Smith & Wesson Spec Series R Model 686 Plus. Slings 357 Magnum downrange from a classic L-frame architecture that has been completely modernized for the 21st century. This wheel gun drops the hammer on traditional designs by shipping directly from the factory with an Aimpoint Acro P2 enclosed emitter red dot already mounted in the box. Looking at the 4.13 inches of stainless steel barrel, you will immediately notice the proprietary PowerPort venting system. This is not just for aggressive looks. When that high-pressure Magnum powder ignites, the port acts as an integral compensator, diverting a carefully calculated portion of the expanding gases upwards just before the bullet exits the crown. This downward jetting actively fights the natural recoil arc, forcing the muzzle down so you never lose your sight picture through the glass. I know the iron sight purists will hate this, but putting a red dot on a revolver is the absolute future of handgun hunting. Sound off below if you trust modern optics on your wheel gun. I remember tracking a wounded hog through dense palmetto scrub right at dusk, and having an illuminated dot instead of hunting for black metal sights made all the difference. Pulling the trigger in double action rolls back like a greased bearing, while the single action brake is crisp and highly predictable. Recoil snaps like a bullwhip, but that 42.4 ounces of steel soaks up the worst of it. It even holds 7 rounds and takes moon clips for lightning-fast reloads when things get tense in the brush. But listen, here is the annoyance with this setup. Because of that top porting venting high-pressure gas straight up, it blasts carbon and unburnt powder directly onto the front lens of that expensive aim-point optic. You will be wiping that glass down constantly, after every range session just to keep your dot clear. The damage to your wallet is just under $2,000. For a turnkey, optic-ready backcountry survival tool that smartly ditches the internal lock, it is a heavy hitter that earns its spot on the roster. Entering the elite tier, we are looking at the Nosler M48 Independence. This is not your grandfather's wheel gun. It is essentially a short-barreled precision rifle scaled down for extreme backcountry excursions. I saw a guy taking pronghorn out past 300 yards with one of these on the open, wind-swept plains, and it was delivering terminal performance you usually only expect from a heavy bolt gun. Under the hood, the magic is in the chassis engineering. It features a billet aluminum stock where the action is bedded directly into the metal, while the 15-inch 416R stainless steel barrel is completely free-floating. Free-floating the barrel ensures that external pressures, like resting the forend on a backpack or a bipod, do not alter the barrel's harmonic oscillation during the microseconds the bullet travels down the bore. That harmonic consistency is exactly why this platform delivers sub-minute of angle precision out in the wild. It feeds on 6.5 Creedmoor or 308 Winchester. The single-stage trigger breaks like a dry twig, snapping under a heavy boot. When you send a round downrange, the recoil kicks like an angry mule, but because of the mid-grip design placing the center of gravity directly over your wrist, the balance completely mitigates that downward torque. You can hold all 5.4 pounds steady without blowing out your forearm. Plus, it takes standard AR-15 grips, so you can swap the factory rubber out for whatever fits your hand best. Honestly, there is a massive catch. This single-shot setup sets you back exactly $2,495. That is a massive financial pill to swallow. You are paying top-tier, custom rifle money for a rig that only gives you one single piece of brass to get the job done. If you miss, that animal is gone before you can run the bolt. Closer to the crown, we have the Taurus Raging Hunter. Feeds on 350 Legend and completely rewrites the rules for guys stuck hunting in states with strict straight-wall cartridge restrictions. I was talking to a hunter from Ohio who used to be handicapped by an inaccurate old slug gun, and this exact rig gave him the reach to ethically drop a whitetail at 90 yards through thick timber. It brings rifle terminal performance directly into a package you can carry in a chest harness. Looking at the mechanics, Taurus had to figure out how to safely contain 55,000 pounds of chamber pressure inside a wheel gun. To keep the cylinder from springing out of alignment during that violent pressure spike, they engineered a heavy-duty dual lockup mechanism. This system secures the cylinder firmly at both the rear and the front of the crane, ensuring absolute structural integrity when igniting a round originally designed for the AR-15 platform. Pulling the double action feels like dragging a heavy stone across wet ice. but the single action break is as crisp as a new $100 bill. When it goes off, the recoil is surprisingly polite, feeling more like a firm, sustained push than a vicious snap. That mild kick is all thanks to a factory-tuned porting system paired with a proprietary gas expansion chamber. As the high-pressure gas expands and strikes the forward baffles, it uses that forward momentum to physically pull the firearm away from you, completely neutralizing the rearward shockwave. Heavy and massive, this hand cannon tips the scales at nearly 80 ounces unloaded. That brings us to the major deal breaker for anyone covering serious ground. Hauling a 10.5-inch or 14-inch barreled revolver through the brush all day is going to absolutely shred your back and shoulders if you do not have a premium custom support rig. It feels like carrying a steel anvil after mile 3. The street price is right around $1,500. Taking the throne at number 1 is the Korth NXR Hunter imported by Nighthawk Custom. It slings 44 Magnum downrange with a level of precision that makes the other guns on this list look like cheap toys. It gives you the rugged reliability of the Smith & Wesson at number 4, but with a match-grade trigger and billet construction that puts the Kimber at number 5 to absolute shame. When you need rifle-like accuracy in a wheel gun, this German-engineered masterpiece stands completely alone. Under the hood, Korth ditched the cheap metal injection molded parts that plague mass-produced wheel guns. Every internal component is machined from solid billet steel, which entirely eliminates the stacking, creep, and grit you usually feel during a double-action pull. This means your trigger press is flawless every single time. Absolutely crucial when you are taking a high-stakes shot on big game at extended distances and cannot afford a micro flinch. I watched a seasoned guide out in Alaska use one of these to drop a charging brown bear, and the mechanical lockup was so tight it sounded like a bank vault slamming shut. Looking at the 7.5-inch cold hammer forged barrel, you will immediately notice the highly engineered ventilated shroud. That heavy steel eats 44 Magnum for breakfast. When you touch off a heavy 300-grain hard-cast round, the recoil rolls back like a heavy ocean wave instead of a sharp, punishing crack. The single action trigger breaks like a thin glass rod snapping under pressure. That ventilated housing accelerates convective cooling, drawing heat away from the barrel profile so you do not get a heat mirage distorting your optics after rapid fire. Coated entirely in a diamond-like carbon finish, it shrugs off backcountry moisture and abrasive grit without breaking a sweat. Sets you back about $6,474 for the base model and climbs well past $7,000 with all the custom upgrades. But honestly, if you want the absolute pinnacle of handgun hunting lethality, nothing else comes close. That is the lineup. The days of settling for modified target pistols in the woods are officially over. These 5 platforms prove that if you want to push your effective range and guarantee terminal performance, you need a purpose-built tool designed from the ground up for the backcountry. Make your choice and get out there. Train hard, stay safe, and I will see you downrange.